A man was killed while he was in his own gated retirement community.
Residents throughout Summerfield now fear for their safety. TV 20's Misty Webb tells us why residents are shocked.
I talked to residents who live near the area, and they say they feel like there's been more violence happening in the area.
There's definitely a little. There's times where I'm like, it can get bad out here. It's a little scary.
Marion County Sheriff's deputies say around 11:50 a.m. they were called to the area of Southeast 170th Lane in Summerfield after getting reports of a shooting. Deputies say they found a man with a gunshot wound. First responders tell me the man was dead when they arrived on scene.
Some of these old people already have like the fear of like going outside and stuff like that, and just them having to hear that's probably gonna make it worse for them to even just step outside their home or be more paranoid.
Eddie Bandomo has lived near the area of Summerfield his whole life and is now worried for his safety.
That makes me wonder how unsafe these ungated communities are, because if we're having a quote-unquote gated community, how are we supposed to call that gated if people are getting shot?
He also says he is shocked because it happened where people would least expect it. Stonecrest is located just a couple miles from the village's retirement community. Forensic units and deputies were in and out of the subdivision all day to continue investigating. Detectives say those involved in the shooting have been located. They are still in the process of being interviewed and no further threat exists. In Summerfield, Misty Webb, TV 20 News.